press the bell icon on the YouTube app to never miss a video from News Laundry.
This is a News Laundry podcast and you're listening to Highway on my podcast with Rocky, Mayur and Abhinandan.
We're back!
We're hungry!
And we are on Highway on my podcast with the two biggest men in Indian food and travel, Rocky and Mayur. Joining them is a
Headed
horse.
to one of the smaller states.
Headed to one of the smaller states, but it packs a punch. We have joining us Prashant Sareen,
Hi.
producer, director extraordinaire, who has been at the driver's seat in many drives across the country, across shows. And my name is Abhinandan Sekhri. We are taking you on a drive to the lovely state of Himachal Pradesh today. Before we get anywhere, just have one quick question to all three of you. Give me one word answer. Mayur, are you a beach guy or a mountains guy? Considering you live in Goa, I think I know the answer to that one.
No, that isn't actually. I'm a mountain guy, hardcore mountain guy. I spend time trekking every year in the mountains, but the rest of the family is beach people. So I got outvoted 3-1.
Rocky?
Life is a beach. That's why Mayur has to live there. I, however, soar like the eagle, so I'm a mountain man.
Okay.
I'm
Prashant?
definitely a mountain man. Definitely.
So
I mean,
we are-
much to the dismay of my daughter, who's never had a beach holiday. thanks to all our driving holidays into the mountains.
Even I can't get the beach. Matlab, kachhe mein reet, daadi mein namak,
Sachi
baal
mein.
mein-
Really. And you're sweating all the time. I mean, what's the...
So
what's the
mountains it is. So guys, Himachal is another episode which we will not be able to pack everything into one episode. So apologize right at the outset. Lots will have to be left out because we have combed this state from end to end. So let's start with the capital city of Shimla, where when we went, two very large looking men dressed in the colorful finery of Himachal outfits, which is a very touristy thing to do at the mall. But when they did it, they scared away a few tourists. What was that like with that Himachali pagdi? And I think Rocky's doing the bhangra there, right?
Yeah, you have to get to the mood of things. When you're in the mall in Shimla, it's a beautiful sunny day. The cool breeze is blowing. Thousands of people are milling around with nothing to do. Those are the good days. So you take your opportunity. Yeah? We dressed up. That's the only thing we could do on the mall. There was nothing else to do. Either you could throw peanuts at the monkeys and have them bite you, which is one other favorite thing to do in Shimla. Or you could dress up in this weird outfits with these pagdis and get your photo taken. So we did that. And once we were sort of hidden, our identities were saved by the costumes. Then I was like, why not dance here? So I started doing the bhangra. And the great part is in Himachal, Punjab, these sort of happy places, people join you when you do something like dancing and all. So we had quite a gang dancing. Happy times, yeah. Happy on the mall.
I mean, Himachal has a huge connection to Punjab anyways. Large parts of Himachal, they speak Punjab. A lot of things happened in Himachal because of just one, I don't know, was he ruler or king? Bhupinder Singh of Patiala, he got up to all sorts of mischief. We'll talk about that. And because of that, many things happened.
Yes, and we visited many of those areas.
Correct.
And driving in the mountains is fun, Prashant? Although it's
Absolutely, yeah. And
lovely.
Himachal has some beautiful roads, yeah. Himachal and even Uttarakhand, for that matter. I mean, our mountains are really beautiful and the roads are really nice. In Himachal, especially, the roads are very, very nice. Very scenic.
Shimla has Candle Point. We had a pastry competition. All these hills, because of the pani and hawa, have amazing confectionaries. And I remember, I think I had so much of dessert there in that one restaurant after we had this run-up of pastries and then gulab jamuns. So do take us for that food walk on the mall. And we did it so many times.
Diabetes was like inevitable for you. I don't know why none of us saw it. You were hell-bent on getting it. But listen, going into Simla, my two favorite signs, one is welcome to Simla. And it's Simla or Shimla, you can call it anyway. So don't get your underwear in and twist over it. Both is okay. And the other favorite sign was the one that said, welcome to Scandal Point. Here, the erstwhile Maharaja of Patiala took panga with the Viceroy's daughter. And this is a government sign. So the Maharaja took panga with the Viceroy's daughter. And that is all we will say about it. And that is the scandal point. So you just go and stand there and look around at other people looking around at you because that's where the scandal was created. So,
And in fact, I remember the exact joke Rocky cracked on that. He says, Mayur, are you aware that Simla is full of Bengali sinners? And Mayur said, no. He says, there was a viceroy here. Uncle ne joke mara. But in fact, when we were shooting there was some police recruitment happening. So there were like 100 cops gathered. You remember?
Yeah. That's when we went there early in the morning one day. But there also I had a joke saying that if the cops catch Bengalis, they beat them up for no reason because they're like, what are your names? And they say Chatterjee and Banerjee. They say, chor hote ho, upar se Gigi karte ho. Chatter not banner bolo.
So
you need cops out there. I mean, everybody's very happily breaking the law. And I'm talking about one very specific thing. Do you remember we noticed that on the mall in Shimla, there are no cars, no scooters, nothing allowed. But of course, there's lots of shops and you want to go for your retail therapy. But what you're allowed to do is they rent out prams for you to be able to push your children in. So if you remember, many, many times we saw people like they load their shopping, they've rented a pram, there is no baby, and then they're using the prams to transport that. And then there were people who were even more enterprising. And there was, if you remember, there was an ambulance that was ferrying people up and down the mall.
Acha, was that? I don't remember that.
Yes.
Speaking of prams, there is a mail from a gentleman called Amitabh Trehan, and he's named us Pram. Prashant, Rocky, Abhinandan, Mayur.
Nice one.
Pram jab niklegi.
Chote bacche.
We could have been called Ramp also. That would have given us a boost and sent us upwards.
That's true. We could, and we look like models, and we belong on the ramp. But there was this one place which Rocky, you gave it a very high rating, and I was very surprised. Very small, nondescript place which was doing, I think, pizzas and pastas, and we went upstairs. You remember?
It was called Wake and Bake.
Yes, and it was the only place open because these mountains. You think that everyone will wake up early morning for the crisp, fresh air, and we like Enthu cutlets decided to wake up early and went, and there was no place open, and then finally we had to wait till Wake and Bake opened. And you guys really enjoyed the meal there, man. It had Rocky's favorite bacon and stuff also, na? So it had bacon, it had some other fancy sounding things that I couldn't pronounce. And then there was the Shere Punjab over there, which is very old and very famous. Prashant, you remember that? What do you think of that?
Yeah, I remember that. It's a typical Chola Bhatura type of place, right? If I remember that correctly. And they had samosas, they had Chola Bhaturas, they had the typical, North Indian fast food kind of.
But they had tandoori chicken and chicken curry. I don't know. We had a Punjabi fix over there after lots of pastries and cutlets.
And they had some seats which, sort of overlook the valley. I remember that. Not a good table. So at the back of the place, overlooking the valley. So yeah, nice place.
No, Shere Punjab was very good because when we were kids, we used to go to Shimla because I have a lot of relatives in Punjab. So we used to invariably end up in Chandigarh, and there it used to be decided in the middle of the summer.
Surprisingly, we would have been very scared if you had a lot of relatives in Tamil Nadu.
I have some in Tamil Nadu also. I have at least one relative in Tamil Nadu. No, not any living ones. I have a dead one there. That's a different story.
Okay.
So we used to go down to Shimla a lot, and Shere Punjab used to be like the place to go to hang out. So I remember that food. I mean, it can only be categorized as Punjabi food with a whole bunch of garam masala and spices thrown in to make it exciting with extra oil. And, there's nothing wrong with that. That's the secret to making Punjabis happy anywhere. So it's the perfect Shere Punjab. Yeah, I want to talk about Wake and Bake here. There was a really sincere young man who used to do everything himself. I used to cook himself. He'd learned how to make pizzas and sandwiches and a little bit of Israeli food, some pancakes, just fun stuff. And he'd got a very nice place on the second floor, and he was doing all that. And right opposite the police station, the administrative headquarters.
Exactly.
So it was a lot of fun to sit there and just see all these cops there. And I remember thinking that I was Dawn and 11 mulkon ki police meri talash kar rahi thi, but they would never take me alive.
And I remember one very scary picture. I mean, it was not a photograph. It was like one of those murtis like embedded into the wall where there is a cop like helping a child, I think. And that's what they're trying to show. But it is so badly made. It looks like the cop is assaulting the child. I was like, dude, which government department commissioned this statue and then accepted it saying, very good. This is what we're trying to communicate.
Yeah, Rocky's talking about a very sincere guy who did all this hard work. One part of me also wants to know is what was he thinking when he started a cafe called Wake and Bake? Do you think he knows where that phrase comes from?
No.
Of course he did.
Even you guys don't know.
No, then let's leave it. This is a family podcast. Mayur, tera ganda dimag cutter mein hi rahega.
Families, please don't wake your children up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Let them get some sleep and some rest. Don't wake them so early. Otherwise, they'll become the Wake and Bake type of people.
I have an idea of where Mayur will go with this, but anyway, we shall move on to Sitaram Sons.
It's accepted terminology all over the world.
But then we are not of this world.
what?
Sorry.
Look at Rocky. Look at him right now. He's looking like a cat that not just licked the cream but went to town on 3 buckets of it.
That's because I was making cake and pastries today, so I baked.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
So, what is Sitaram and Sons? Mayur, you have listed this.
Yeah, you don't remember Sitaram and Sons? He was like, I think, 3rd or 4th generation. And again, that's definitely a place that Rocky ate in his childhood. He was on the upper mall. It was that really small shop that was doing only 5 items, 4 of which had the word chana in them. So he did luchi chana, bhatura chana, some
Kulcha chana.
pinki chana, kulcha chana, and then he had one other type of puri. And this was the place where right next to it, we did this little chat, because right behind us it was a dance hall.
Yes, there was a dance competition.
A gun shop, a dance hall, a laundry, and then a roller skating rink. And we made
Correct.
all those jokes about
Yes.
you would go in and buy a gun, shoot somebody, and come and give your clothes for washing,
And then dance.
and then dance.
Yeah. And then there was a shop called Modern Antiques, which I have no idea what it means. But you guys don't know this because you're all young. In my day, in the 70s and 80s, when you would go to Simla, the only place to be seen at was the skating rink. And the skating rink was where all the cool people would land up. It used to be a ballroom earlier, but then it was converted to a skating rink. And we used to go there and skate pointlessly in circles. I think that is a large reason why, people like me are the way we are, because we just went around in circles completely pointlessly for many holidays. So
Going
once
around
we
in
did that
circles.
for a long time, we would come down and we would be starving. And the only thing we had money for was the Sitaram guy down below who used to live. I mean, his shop used to be a little bit of a walk from the skating rink, but he still had the greatest luchi and chole. And he still carries that on. I don't know why it's called luchi though, because that's obviously a
That's a
Bengali term. I mean,
Yeah,
why
we
are
asked
why
him.
are those?
Interesting.
We asked him. You remember? He's like, "Pata nahi, aap to puri
Yeah.
bolte hain." Rocky said, "Yahan pe luchi nahi to." Or one of us said, "Luchi nahi to lafangi bolte hain."
Luche tu you mind your own business, Luche. But this entire, area, Simla, Solan, Chail, Kufri, Kasauli, this used to be the favorite trip, the favorite trekking route, even during our childhood. And one has walked this way very often. And how dramatically it has changed since we were kids. Very few places, I think, have changed that dramatically. Just remind me, there was this really old haunted looking house. Was that in Simla or in Mussoorie? We clicked a picture. I have a picture of that. I'm getting confused. I'll send it to you guys.
I don't know. There's a
That
haunted
was Simla.
tunnel there, but
That was Simla, right?
Yeah, that's in Simla. And that is a house right on top of the hill, which is the administrative services block sort of now. I think earlier it used to be either the Viceroy's summer residence or the Viceroy's administrative building or something. But it's a beautiful old building with magnificent lawns. And we've been there. Mayur and I have been there and shot there also. And it's a great place and supposedly it's haunted.
It looks it,
Though
man.
we couldn't
Is
see
it
any
that
ghosts when we
Indian
went there.
Institute of Advanced Studies? It's a very stately building.
Yes, that's the one.
Indian Institute of Advanced Studies.
That's the one. That's the one.
It's a research
Yeah. And
center.
even if it isn't haunted, it should.
It should be. Because it looks it. Absolutely. But you boys want to hang around in Shimla? Prashant, you want to roll out of here and take us to Sanjoli and Janegad and
We
Chair
can,
and all
we
that?
can roll
I
up
think-
to Kufri or down to Kasauli. I mean, either
Maybe.
way.
lovely. But before we go, Muh Meetha Kar Lo, you were forgetting one beautiful place we went to. I don't know if we shot, or no, I think we shot. It was called Mehru's. It's been open since 1902. It was an old style bakery. We had the doodh jalebi there.
Yes.
And then we had saffron flavored milk there.
Did we
they
shoot
did
there?
all that-
I remember stuffing my face there. I don't know if we shot this doodh jalebi. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh
Somehow-
yeah, it was like on the other end of the market, right? On the one end, you have this lift wala building, or whatever it is called, like to go up to the mall road.
Correct.
And then on the other end, and there's that reminds me, in Simla is one place where they have the most beautiful post boxes. I mean, not that anyone cares about post boxes, but they have those British Raj post boxes even now. Like, what are they called? Post boxes only, right?
Post boxes only.
Yeah, it's a beautiful one. I think I have a really nice picture of that. And it's like literally from that era. They haven't changed it.
Yeah,
And it was
Prashant.
just outside this place that you're talking about, this bakery.
See, that's why we need Prashant. Wait, हमारे सामने पड़ी है दूध जलेबी और देसी घी की मिठाइयाँ. And Prashant ji is looking at beautiful letter boxes from the English era.
No, it's really, really beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And the only other place I've seen something like that is in Sri Lanka. when we were visiting there.
Yeah, it's like that.
Shimla also incidentally is where Rocky and I, they had that old theater there and they were doing auditions. Do you remember? Was that on one of our trips? Rock, do you remember? We went and we pretended to do the audition. Then we jumped up and down just outside and the whole building started shaking. So we decided not to go. And
oh, that was no. That was in Missouri. That was in Missouri. Where
well, I remember that, but
where the dance, who that choreographer, that fat lady, what's her name?
Farah Khan.
No, not Farah Khan. The other one, the older one.
Saroj Khan.
Saroj Khan. Saroj Khan was doing an audition there, and you guys landed up there.
And you land up, and yes, and when you jumped, the floor was shaking. That was Missouri. Correct?
That was Missouri. Yeah.
Back to Simla then.
So yeah, we can head to Solan. In fact, the Solan, Simla, Chail, Kufri, our favorite treks as schoolboys also. It was the easiest one to go to, and then you just camp out and play court piece for 5 days.
And drink beer.
Drink beer, right. Not that I did.
Number one.
Solan number, that's a whiskey.
Yeah.
So Solan is a tiny little place. I'm not sure there was much we ate over there, but it was a headquarter to head to some very exciting areas around. Mayur, please tell us where all did we go. There's one memorable photograph of Prashant in a little cap, making sure his hair doesn't fall into a strawberry jam factory we were visiting.
Ah, yes. That was the turnoff we took from Barog. First we went to Barog and we stopped at Barog and then we had to be sure that we had the camera set up because the toy train comes in there on its way up somewhere and it only stopped in minutes. So we have to have everything set up and all because as soon as it comes, we have to eat. And they had those beautiful potato and pea cutlets, I think. That's what they're famous for.
Railway cutlets, they call it.
Yeah, railway cutlets. And then they do a little packed lunch for people that want to get off.
Is the station still there? It was beautiful, man. It was like... It's stunningly beautiful.
It is still there. It is indeed stunningly beautiful. It's so beautiful because the train sort of emerges out of that tunnel, a long tunnel whistling. It comes out and it comes out at the station. And the station's a little curved platform it has, right? So the train comes and it stands along this curved platform. And on one side, where the waiting room is, it's covered with all these bougainvilleas and all this. It's very, very beautiful. And it's very quiet because it's only the train and the people. So there are literally 10 people hanging around on that.
There was no one when we were there, man. It was beautiful.
Virtually no one. And there's this place which is, the what would you call it? Like a
canteen
joint.
It's
a canteen sort of thing on the platform. And serving you makhan wale sandwich and railway cutlet.
Kitne khaye, Rocky?
With kaddu
but it's still
sauce.
Really tasty. Yeah. The taste of those things has been unchanged for 50 years. So even the bread pakoras they served, and especially those packed meals, I mean, the dal, sabzi and all that taste is unique to the railways here. And that's how it used to be. In the old days when you would take a train journey in the 70s, 80s, the taste is unchanged from there on. And that's one of the few places where it's unchanged. So it was so nice eating those meals here. I think I had about 10 of them in 5 minutes. They were looking quite worried because they were like, Baki passenger ko bhi khane chhod do thode se.
I was really thrilled at that because the train was working because we'd had a heart broken when we had gone to... Okay, remind me, was it Darjeeling?
Darjeeling. The train wasn't working then.
It wasn't working, so we went to the bloody station where all of them were parked and we bloody did a shot over there, but it wasn't moving. Here it was actually moving, so it was lovely to see, man.
Yeah. And we'd parked our vehicle, on the road high above, and we'd come down this very precarious kind of a path down to the railway station just for the shot that we wanted.
Yeah, that's the shortcut. All the local villagers take that shortcut to just walk down from the main road because going via road is a long distance here. And people forget this about Simla and Barog and all these areas, that this was the British summer capital of India. So the British used to make their homes there. And so where the mall is, around the mall and above it is all like old British India, where you have these amazing antiquated buildings and little corners and beautiful little pieces of history scattered all over the place. And below and all is the new area around the mall and below and, sides of the mall. That's where the new hotels and restaurants and all have come up, where all the tourists stay. So Simla has just still got its old charm in that area. And Barog, of course, is so beautiful and charming, especially in, the foggy, misty, rainy season. It stays open and it's just magnificent to see how lovely that train looks coming out of the fog into the bougainvilleas. It's like a magic journey. Somebody should put that on a film. Prashant, when you make a movie, put that scene in it.
Yeah.
And the way Rocky's been describing it, we'll do it two ways. One, out through the mist comes the train out of the tunnel, and the other side, Rocky running in slow motion towards it, with arms spread wide open, and 20 railway cutlets in each arm.
Tunnel mein se ek cheek aati.
It's
and then you hear the train whistle.
It will be a short story.
Yeah.
But moving from Barog to Bhoira, I just remember it was really beautiful, and they had these factories where they made Bhoira jams, and these women were like squishing cherries and squishing strawberries. What was the motto? I forget, Mayur.
Made by smiling mountain women, none of whom were smiling when we were there. I have no idea.
But they were all women.
And I mean, you have to be very serious if you can see Rocky and me in little hairnets and still not crack a smile. But they didn't. Very serious. Very seriously.
No, they were wonderful. And you know, they all looked a lot like each other, and I think they were all related, and they were also the most hirsute ladies I've ever seen in India anywhere. Because they all had mustaches and these fine beards, and they were like really happy mountain women. Because I mean, it was incredible. They all looked the same, and you know, I was like, wow, man, these are like really happy mountain women. I mean, I would love it if I had that fine beardy, mustachy sort of face. It was very delicately done.
But I will say, each time we went to these Bhoira type places, Prashant would always come back and say, "Yaar, Nikku, na production house वगैरह बंद करते हैं. Let's pick up a small plot and we'll just make jam."
That's still a dream, man.
And dude, we actually got to a stage where I went to near Siri Fort. There is the ministry gives special loans if you want to start an agricultural this thing there. We actually reached the stage that ठीक है बंद करके वहाँ जाके farming करेंगे. Luckily, I came back with the form and we didn't fill it.
You guys should have done it, because now in the coming decade and beyond, farming and people who can till the land and do all these products is going to be very, very important in an area of like great growth.
क्यों प्रशांत बंद करें small screen news laundry?
Jam banate.
I was ready 15 years back. But we wouldn't have then done a highway on my plate if we had done it at that time. But now we can do it, I guess. It's still a dream. And the Rajgarh village where this Bhoira jam factory is such a beautiful place. Yeah,
it really is.
Village, quiet, away from the main road.
And you know, fresh air.
Fruit growing all over the place. And I mean, that's what life should be like. Yeah, sweet.
क्यों Rocky? आपकी टिप्पणी इस पर?
हाँ, बिल्कुल. If you guys want more information about these things, you can speak to our friend Vivek Mushran, the actor. His mother owns that Bhoira jams, and you know she's been up there revolutionizing the whole place and making these jams and making an industry out of it and benefiting all the farmers and all over there. So he'll have some interesting tips to give you guys. You can take that, or you can just come with me to my mountain home, which will be built in the next 7 or 8 years. So the offer is out there. And for everybody who's celebrating out there because News Laundry and Small Screen is going to shut down, you know you have us to thank because it happened here first.
But until we do that, we still have to hit the road once again, this time as Pram, as Mr. Trehan has said. So do write in to us and you can, be a part of the newsletter. We'll send out newsletters which will have the visual, context of all that we're talking about, all the episodes we've already done, all the states we've traveled to, all the places we've visited all across this country. Write in with your experiences and your food stories at homp2020@gmail.com. The idea of this podcast is not just to get the highway to you when you can't hit the highway in times of lockdown, but to use this time to build a community of people who really value travel, fun, food, and just meeting people. And once all this is done, we will get back on the road. We will put Rocky Mur right again. And we shall go across the country. And many of you have written recommendations of places we should visit. We will go rediscover those and we'll ride again before another pandemic hits us. We should make the most of it. And along the way, maybe we can meet many of you. So do remain part of this community. Let's get it going and let's see where it goes. So gentlemen, what else did we do with our headquarters at Solan? I will say in Solan, I went to Hotel Mayur. And I remember I wasted your guys' time. Because I went and got photographs clicked. Because when I was in school, we had gone to Solan for a midterm and we had played video games and we had stayed in this Hotel Mayur and it was still there. And I went and got pictures clicked and I saw those bathrooms and I saw that room. I said, how did 8 guys pile into this room and 8 of us use this one dirty bathroom? Our standards have really kind of shifted, huh?
Well, we'll talk about our standards when we talk about Mahabaleshwar and Maharashtra.
God.
Oh dear God.
We'll talk about it then. Right now, Acha, ye batao, was that the meat pickles? Was it somewhere around there? That Shakti Pickles place? Where like there was a whole row of all of them the same family name and they were doing pickles.
That was
Bhaddi. Bhaddi, na? What's it called?
Bhaddi.
It's called Delhi. It's called Delhi and it's on the way from Chandigarh to Simla. And it's just as you start driving up, Delhi is on the way. And there used to be one shop selling pickles and all that stuff. And now, of course, all the brothers, cousins, everybody's opened their own shops. There's about 20 shops that specialize in meat pickles. And it's very nice. Most of them are all very good and you can stop and buy your pickles there. But listen, I heard that the Americans are funding for a small town right next to Solan. It's going to be called Dolan,
Dolan.
named after their president.
But listen, each time we went up there, we always bought pickles from that place. But the last time we were coming back, I think they're expanding the road and some of those shops are shut, right? I wonder if they're still around.
Yeah, they're expanding the road. They made it into a four-lane highway now.
Because the
And
last time
some
we
of the
went,
work is still going on, but it's just after this turn. If you're coming up from Chandigarh, driving up from Chandigarh, just after this turn for Kasauli on the left is this place, a cluster of shops and all, right? And they sell all these fruit wines, which are absolutely, I mean, you should never spend your hard-earned money on that fruit wine because it's nothing but just vinegar. And, it's just sour and bad tasting stuff. But everyone is selling that fruit wine there, plum fruit wine. It all sounds very nice, but it isn't to taste. Apple and plum and pear and all of these.
hum to wine peete nahi.
Just a sense of wonder, because I think what you said, we'll find that many times when we went back on routes and stuff, the road was widened, the dhabas were gone. NH8, some places they made an expressway, so now they've completely bypassed the old highway. And it's an interesting question, no? Economic, one thing is like you want to get people from point A to point B really fast. But then along the way, we're also losing a lot of these small businesses. We're losing the character. We're losing a lot of the reasons why people enjoy travel.
Sure, the experience.
I don't know which one is better or not. Do you want to get there faster or do you want the scenic route?
No, I completely agree with. In fact, nothing was starker in this than when we went to Gujarat. We'll come to that. The first time I went to Gujarat, we went from Baroda to Ahmedabad, then to Anand. There were highways. The last time we went there was this expressway. We were there in 2 hours and there's not a single dhaba on the way because it's just this expressway. So tell us about Sanjauli and Junaid Ghat. I remember Junaid Ghat very well. That amazing dhaba. You guys gave it one of the highest rankings we've ever given anyone. But what was Sanjauli first, Mayo?
The Sanjauli, I think Sanjauli is where this place is, the Gyanida Dhaba, by the side of the road. And I mean, an institution. But again, it's like all the people that took their kids up to like Sanar and all the other schools there. Everybody would stop there on the way up from Chandigarh. I don't know if the food was, I don't remember the food is really good. Again, it was dal and paneer and you guys had some meat stuff. But what was really nice was talking to that old gentleman and the wife was there and the son. Just from people from a bygone era.
Yeah, they were great people.
So,
they had lemon chicken. That was a specialty. Remember, Rocks? I liked it.
Yeah, Gyanida Dhaba has always been a success because of the same reason why your family is a success. Because when you need somebody, they're always there. And they will give you a nice hot meal with basic dal, chawal, garam roti, pyaz, and you know what you'll get. So that in itself is a huge advantage because in the mountains, most things are very unreliable. And that road that you speak of, over the last 3-4 years, I've been going to Himachal every year for my birds. And that road after the rains is a disaster. And it's washed out during the months of November, December, January, February. And by March or so, they start finishing the repairs on it. And it is never in one piece. So completely disastrous highway. I don't know who's in charge of it, but, if we were in the British times, they would have either committed suicide by now and become a ghost on one of the tunnels, or they would have, been chased back to England or Ireland or wherever they would have come from. Because that is the biggest disaster highway I'm concerned.
And
it's been made about 30 times in the last 20 years.
In fact, the last time we went there, the half of Gyani Dhaba had been broken down in expansion. So there was this kacha malba you had to climb over to get into what was left of his dhaba.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's still around though. So it's still around, Rocky, you're saying, right?
Yeah.
It's still around, but there's a better one right across the road now. The food is better. There's a Colonel's Dhaba across the road.
Rocky's Klansman.
It's called Shane Punjab or Shane Himachal, if I'm not mistaken.
Colonel Hundal.
Oh, yes. We met him. We hung out with him. We spoke to him. That's right. I remember.
Yeah. And he has the ultimate accolade that when we went to Sanar and we were talking to the kids and we said, listen, kids, you want some food? And they were like, yeah. And we were like, okay, should we get you something from Gyani Dhaba? And they were like, no, butter chicken from Shane Himachal. So, that was, that's a good reward. That's a good medal to have.
Endorsement, yes.
True.
Just so you know, Gyani Dhaba has Rocky Muir's photograph on his counter.
Oh, well done. Yeah, he the first time we went, he showed us all the ones we had. We took Dharmendra and his elder son, what's he called? Sunny Deol and a lot of the people who are now famous or were famous then, but who'd studied in school and also they were there. And then the third time we went, he was like, I put your photo also. Because Rocky went and asked him, he said, Hamari photo kahin sir ko dekho maan laga rakhi hai. So he's like, acha, is baar hum bill de denge. But that, I stand corrected, that was not Sanjauli.
Not
Sanjauli was Pappi Da Dhaba. where there was this old gentleman and he started a dhaba and then he got the calling of God. He went away. He gave it to his two younger brothers who did what many families do and immediately started doing katti, fighting. And then they had side by side, they had the dhaba. And Rocky went to one and spoke to, I think, Kiran auntie or Anju auntie, her name was the husband.
Oh, yeah. I remember this place, correct. Then we did both. Yes. That was fun. That was a fun
And the place was famous. You guys have forgotten because after I finished school, I went into college. And when I went into college, we used to walk out of Simla and go and hang outside the St. Bede's College where all the girls used to study. And they would come out in the evening to eat something at Papi the Dhaba. And there would be Papi and Rocky hanging out, waiting to meet the girls. And of course, they would only talk to Papi because he gave them keema paranthas, which was the coolest thing over there, and kaju ki cold coffee, which I never had the money for. So that's what I ate when I was there. The kaju cold coffee and the keema paranthas are the things to have if you're ever in Papi da Dhaba. And of course, if you're young and single and looking for a erstwhile wife from the state of Punjab or Himachal, then it might be a good idea to, make cow-like eyes at all the girls who come down. And if they so sort of choose to like you or talk to you, you may have a chance. You could also get beaten up because a lot of them are not shy about expressing their views. So they'll beat you up like no other state can beat you.
So, young men, don't take Rocky's advice very seriously. I can tell you from experience. So, just remember,
You've been beaten up outside St. Bede's, huh?
it isn't just. But let's move on to Sharma Vaishnav Dhaba, Rajma, Kadi Pakoda. This was one of my favorite meals because when you're on the road that long, you crave for something that does not have that. See, no matter how good the food in many of these places, it still has that restaurant or dhaba feel. And then you crave for that home-cooked curry type feel. And man, if there's one place that has it, it is this.
Yeah, also, if you remember, there was the BD Sharma, I remember, or BP Sharma. They were all Sharmas.
Yes.
And, of course, Sharma Vaishnav Dhaba, never mind. And there was him, his brother and his wife. And there was just the three of them in the kitchen. And then they had the daughter. So it was like real home-style cooking. They were doing garam pulkas also. And I remember their kofta and their rajma. Oh, man, that was good food. And we weren't the only ones who liked it. Do you remember?
Yeah. It's a very tiny place. People are coming from Shimla, Solan with tiffins to pack food and take it back with them.
Sharma Dhaba is a very faraway place, just short of Chel, just short of the palace, the Chel Palace, exactly. About 10, 12 kilometers, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it's very close to Chel. And what was lovely about it is they ended with that shakkar ki roti, which is such a home thing. Ki when mother says, "Chal ek aur roti kha le." They have the best kadhi. It's a really tiny place. I highly recommend it if you guys are going. You got to stop there and eat, man. And the kadhi, I loved their kadhi.
We had a fun sequence there because Rocky was poking fun at this couple that was behind us. Because he's like, "Do you love it?" They said, "Yeah, we love it." He's like, Are you guys like, how long? He asked the boy. The boy said, "I've been coming here for 12 years." The girl said, "I've come for 2 years." He said, "I had a date here." So Rocky was like, "And you still married him?" He's like, "Yeah." Yeah. So Rocky says, "For all of you watching, if you bring a girl here for your date and you feed her at a cheap dhaba and she still marries you, then you know that she really loves you."
It's love.
यार, वही सच्चा प्यार तो वही होता है यार. That's how you judge things. Anybody can take a girl to a restaurant and she might be like, "Acha, this is a very nice restaurant. Maybe I can think about marrying this duffer." But if a girl truly loves you and you take her to the worst dhaba, then she'll marry you, especially in the middle of the summer in the heat. So all you boys in Delhi, once the lockdown is over, in all of India, once the lockdown is over, take your girlfriend to the cheapest dhaba in the hottest area of town. And then if she'll agree to marry you after that, then she's the right girl for you. And all you girls sending hate mail and who are going to try and assassinate me after this, I apologize in advance.
Besides, after the lockdown, the cheap dhaba is the only place you'll be able to afford.
All kidding aside, maybe those are the first places that all of us should give our custom to.
That's true, man.
Because they don't have access to
deep pockets.
Deep pockets and stuff. And I think that those are the sort of people where if we are going to go out and eat, we are going to give our patronage to. It's regional food, it's fresh food, it's good food. There's going to be a lot of road travel happening. I don't know when the airlines are going to open up. My sense is there's going to be lots of road travel happening. So hopefully people will spend money on these places.
And frankly, dhabas which have a clientele, right? I mean, they are the most healthy places you can eat at here.
Correct.
Because, they're constantly cooking. It's not like they've cooked something and then it's coming from central kitchen 8 hours later.
Unless you are at Mr. Baba's kitchen, which we'll get to, it's in quickly. Then you don't know which
very shortly
age, whether the food has come from Kalyug, Satyug, Treta or Dwapar. It could have come from anywhere. But we will tell you, but he's a character. But the Sharma
or whether if it's or it could be a kickback, you never know.
Yeah.
It could be a kickback. We'll explain that joke, but Sharma Dhaba has got amazing food. Now we shall head towards Chel. But before we do that, can I just read out a mail, boys? We have some very wonderful, loving mails that have come in.
Please.
So this one is from Shreya Bharti. Shreya says, "Hi everyone, I'm from Bihar and I started listening to your show 2 weeks ago. And now the situation is that I don't want to miss a single word of all of you. You are all very funny, especially Rocky. I really like his sense of humor. This communication of humor, cuisine, and highway makes you even more praiseworthy and incredible. Keep taking us to the highways of India, across the world. And I want to ask, when will you come to Bihar? Yeah, I know there are lots of rumors about our state, but we're really welcoming and sweet at heart. And you will feel at home. All the best, guys. Bye." Shreya, you have no idea. We have had some of our best meals in Bihar. We will get there soon.
That's
I
true, man.
agree.
Yes. And Shreya, you don't know this, but my wife is a Bihari from Bengal. So Bihar is a state close to my heart. I am half Bihari. My children are half Bihari genetically. So, we have a very close association with it. So we are all Bihari deep down inside.
बिहार रॉकी का मायका ही कहता है ना, ससुराल, सॉरी ससुराल है वो, इसका ससुराल है, but
That's what makes him so funny.
that's what makes him so funny. Yeah, the Punjabi meets Bihari sense of humor. But in fact, we've had some of our finest meals there, and I'll tell you when we get there. But before we do that, there's another mail. This is, "Hi Homp team. Hope you're doing well during this lockdown. I, for one, am doing a lot better now that I have this podcast to listen to. I have very fond memories of watching Rocky and Muri on TV during my school days in all the shows they've done. In college, I found out about News Laundry and have been listening to the podcast ever since. It was a great surprise to find out that the two are connected. I don't particularly consider myself a foodie, but I feel I'm not far off. For someone from Kerala who spent his younger days in Siliguri, owing that my father was posted there. Hey, dude, even my dad was posted to Siliguri. He was in the EME, in the army. And now living in Bangalore, I connect very much with the episodes of Kerala, West Bengal, and Karnataka. The insights, the stories, the banter between all of you makes the podcast extremely enjoyable. And it sheds light on a lot of great things about our wonderful country, especially in times when all of us could do with a little positivity and love. I didn't know Rocky and Muri have books of their own, but I will surely pick them up once the lockdown is over. Love, Shashank Menon." Thanks, Shashank. You can also order their books on Amazon if I'm not wrong, boys. Tell me.
But they're not essential items. They're non-essential items. So
लेकिन अब तो खुल गया यार.
क्या बात कर रहा है? इससे ज़्यादा essential item क्या हो सकता है?
I know. Along with your dal roti, they can also send you the books. But yeah, I mean, is there a Kindle version of this?
There is.
Yeah. I'm sure there would be, but you can check it up on Amazon and Flipkart. But the great news is, Shashank, there's so much development now in Siliguri that it started being called Clever Guri now. It's no longer silly.
There, Shreya, another joke for you to giggle at. But guys, before we move on, you were talking about dhabas. We'll talk about when we get to Haryana. But News Laundry recently did a story. One of our reporters went to Murthal. Guys, Murthal was the first short highway on my plate did. That was our very first sequence ever. And it's a really tragic story if you read it. And we've got video also of what's happened to all those dhabas in the lockdown.
Even Gulshan the Dhaba.
All of them, dude. And it's really sad. I mean, when I saw that story and I saw those interviews, I really felt bad.
Are they still there or not?
Yeah, there, but there's no work. And because it's such an ecosystem, right? Because all the Gwalas used to come from the villages close by. Their milk was consumed only here because you know the kind of butter they gave. So that entire ecosystem. And I remember Rocky cracked his joke of this shop outside the dhaba that was selling magnetic vests that could cure AIDS, cancer, hepatitis C and everything else. And Rocky said, available in 3 colors. But yeah, the Haryana episode will be a fun one. But yeah, guys, so once this lockdown ends, let's start off by eating at dhabas so we can get their economies back up. So let's go to Chel, boys. The overrated Chel Palace. I don't have many good things to say about it. But yeah, I guess if you're there, you might as well hit it.
Yeah, I like the story behind it. I think it was the same famous Bhupinder Singh because he took a panga with the Viceroy's daughter, so he couldn't go up to Simla anymore. So he's like, "Koi gal nahi, chade gol bahut paisa hai." So he went to Chel and he built a palace and he built the town and he built a cricket ground because he enjoyed cricket. And I think it might still be the highest cricket ground in the world.
And we went to shoot there. It was raining cats and dogs. What a beautiful day it was. And we shot at the cricket ground with the rain, which was locked. Upar chalang laga ke trying to pando the... Yeah, man. What a trip that was.
Yeah, I have a feeling it probably all started on a misunderstanding because the Viceroy said, "You've taken panga with my daughter. I'm going to send you to jail." And he said, "Jail? I can go to jail on my own. In fact, I'll make it better than Simla." So, that confusion between jail and jail is what it started off the whole thing. But jail is quite the town, and that palace is quite a palace. I mean, just to go there to see the beautiful architecture and sit in the garden and eat a dinner, that's well worth it. Even though the food is nothing spectacular, but it's really nice to sit out and eat dinner. That you must do once. One day is good.
It's beautiful. I agree.
So there's that one place outside the Chail Palace in the town, in that just outside the Chail Palace, where we'd gone for samosas. You remember samosas and with chana and all. That was really good. It was raining heavily, and maybe because of that, it tasted really nice. But the chai was really nice.
Yeah, man. I love that. That day was a great day, man. I just loved sitting.
Chai, samosa, chola.
Raining cats and dogs in the hills, and we had just come back and we stopped there and we were having hot chai. Man, that was awesome.
And Rocky was showing off his Stetson hat that he had. Look, it just sheds water.
Waterproof.
Did you recall that? He was like standing out in the rain just to make a point.
Yeah, what do you guys know? Ask us girls with long hair how much trouble it is when your hair gets wet. Girls, please support me on this one and write in and tell these jokers what it means to have wet hair when you have long hair. It stays wet for like an hour. So it's very important to have a nice Stetson. You can cover your long hair and you can stay nice and dry. And that hat was really dry hair. That's why I was so impressed. So that's what cowboys and girls have in common. Dry hair when it rains. Unlike you buffoons. Who have
That dry underwear at least. At least us buffoons were dry in important bits. But do you remember the little bit of the sequence we did after that? I think 2 or 3 shops down from this, we were wandering around. We found the guy. He was like etching people's names on a rice grain. And then we said, "Can you etch any name?" He said, "Yes, I can etch any name." And then we got our audio man Vaidanathan, who had like what 60 like alphabets in his name. And he said, "Can you do this?" He's like, "Yeah, I can do." He's like, "Okay, tell him your name." He's like, Vaidanathan.
Our audio engineer, we used to call him Vedi, but he was S. Vaidyanathan. And like many people from Tamil Nadu, what does the S stand for? The S stands for everything from S to Z. So then once Vedi said, "This is my full name, ab ye tu chawal pe likh ke dikha."
No, S stands for simply.
Simply
Vaidanathan.
Simply Vaidanathan.
In fact, the first time we asked him, Vedi, what does S stand for? Simply.
Simply Vaidanathan.
Yeah, he was the Sardarji who was doing the writing on the rice was so confused by the time Vaidyanathan finished telling him his name. He was like, "Sir, chhado, then likh ke de do kagaz pe."
So once the rice was done, then we went to Kufri. The thing about Kufri, I will let the boys tell you about one of the most interesting characters. And I mean, it's all fun and games, but I could really make a documentary on this guy if I had the time, and I'd go there. But Kufri is a place which even you've reached there with your eyes closed, because the overwhelming smell of mule shit hits you like a slap in the face. And I remember Kufri when I was a boy. We used to go Chail, Kufri, Shimla was the trek we used to do most often. And Kufri was just like 5 shops. That was Kufri. There was nothing else. And now when I went to Kufri, it has these big ugly buildings which we stayed in all those hotels.
Yeah.
Marble laga diya, ye kar diya, lekin kaanch toota hai. So it's a mule shit smelling joint.
And also the only place where you can see cars and men and women sliding over mule shit like they're walking on ice. Literally, there's so much of it. You recall there's a little bit of an incline as you go up to Kufri, that final incline.
Yeah.
And it's just littered with this mule shit all over.
In fact, that's where that
cars
main
are skidding
park-
all over the place.
The main parking is there.
Yeah.
So we ate at a place there. What happened, Rocky Mayur, when the food came? Tell us about that experience.
I'm just going to say it was one of the most memorable meals we had on Highway on My Plate.
Yes.
If we are only talking about the food, I remember this place has the lowest rating we have ever given on Highway on My Plate. And the rating was 1 out of 10. And the reason why it got 1 was because we were able to swallow what was on the plate. Because
Or at least one bite.
He put sugar on all the thalis. All 4 different types of thalis, he put sugar on them.
I thought you gave him 1 because he was quite the character. And
That ambience. It went high on ambience. On food, it was 1 and 0.
Ambience, it was like 8 on 10 or 9 or 10 because the guy was a total character. So, India is full of these incredible stories like this guy who was the owner of this little dhaba in Kufri. He had been in Bombay for a number of years trying to make it big in the movies. And, he had this certificate from a college, having done his master's in music. And it was up on the wall. And we were like, wow, man, Bombay must have been really unfair to throw this guy out. Until he said, मैं आपको harmonium मंगवा के गाना सुनाता हूँ. So by this time, his confidence had increased so much. He brought the harmonium and he started singing. And we realized why he had got no work in Bombay. Because he was just horrible. He was a really sweet guy, but he was in La La Land for 50 years.
Like his food.
Like his food, his singing was only 2 out of 10 because sound was coming out of his mouth. And the food was 1 on 10 because we could swallow it. And that was the most I can say about both. So we felt really bad for the guy.
No, but Mr. Bawa, he was in a place like Kufri, everyone's wearing their whatever kaftans or whatever those things are called, and everyone's looks the same, talks the same. In a lot of these hill towns, especially not the Masuris and the Shillongs and the Simlas, where there is a trendy population. Of course, the Northeast is super trendy. In a place like Kufri, everybody looks the same, has the same basic life. Ki dukaan kholenge, paisa kamayenge, wapas jayenge. This guy stands out. He has this beret hat with a feather. He has this collection of hats. He has this Devanand type scarf. And he doesn't talk to you straight. Oh, welcome, man. What do you want? Hey, what is this? Come, sit. Come, I get you. What do you want? You want omelette? And then he sings and he talks and his dhaba has paintings which he's done himself. His wife is a really sweet lady. And I mean, it's just, he was a character, man. And it was really tragic while he was really funny. Clearly, he thought his life did not belong in this mule shit smelling place. And I think from seeing all the reality shows and music, he figured that he has a future elsewhere, but clearly not. But so he had this dhaba and he made terrible food. But man, what a guy. I mean, I think that guy can be like the subject of a documentary film.
And what an interesting story. I mean, he had a very Devanand kind of feel about him, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the way
The
he
hat with the feather in it, yeah.
The hat and the feather and all of that. He was very Devanandish.
So just the way he'd sit, just the way his hand was, he had this very graceful way he conducted himself. But and he would keep saying kickback. What was that all about?
He referred to, he's a kickback, God kickback.
God kickback, right.
Every time a series of questions went beyond 3 or 4 and got to a point where it would now become sort of invasive, he would just turn around and say, kickback. So it was like, sir, आप सिंगर थे? हाँ, मैं सिंगर था, मैंने अपनी डिग्री हासिल करी, फिर मैं गया बॉम्बे और वहां पे मुझे काफी काम करने की जरूरत थी, लेकिन मुझे काम नहीं मिला. And you're like, sir, फिर क्या हुआ वहां पर? मैंने कई डायरेक्टर से बात करी, लेकिन मुझे किसी ने काम नहीं दिया. And you're like, sir, उसके बाद क्या हुआ? Kickback. And that word obviously meant something to him because it meant nothing to us. But every discussion would end in kickback. So he would say, sir, ये जो आर्टिस्ट, ये जो आर्ट आपने दीवारों पे लगाया हुआ है, ये आपके बच्चों ने बनाया है? इसे नहीं, ये मैंने बनाया है. इसे लगता है किसी 10 साल के बच्चे ने बनाया है. इसे नहीं, वो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट है, इसलिए ऐसे आया. चलो, लवली सर, तो आपको पेंटिंग का शौक, मुझे बहुत शौक है, तो आपकी पेंटिंग की इंस्पिरेशन क्या है? Kickback.
Everything was a
so
kickback.
There was something going on in his head which was beyond us. But he was a really sweet guy. I mean, he was trying, and he wanted to be an artist, and he wanted to be artistic and a singer. But obviously, he didn't have the talent, much like Mayur and myself. Lack of talent.
But you chose the right show.
Most people don't realize.
Dhabas. If you had gone like fine dining, maybe you would have been like Baba.
Yeah. Well, there is not much of a difference between a horse and a mule.
But there was
only when one parent is changed, you can become a mule instead of a horse. So it's not really in your hands.
But there was something really happy and sad about him, which is why I think he was a very interesting character.
Ranjit Singh Kaushal, that was his name.
Ranjit Singh Kaushal. Well, I hope Mr. Kaushal has come to, has found his peace but is the character he was, because he is the only reason I would recommend you go to Kufri, just to meet Mr. Kaushal.
Yeah, and get him talking and take a photograph with him. And, he's like one of those underdogs that you really want to back and you want to sort of be like, come on, you can do it, Bawa Saab. And, sort of, he's that kind of guy. He's a fun guy. He's like a large clump of mushrooms under a big tree in the rain, a fungi.
Such a pig.
Okay, guys, we haven't even touched, we are going to come to an hour soon. We haven't even touched the Dalai Lamas, McLeodganj, Dharamsala, Kangra, Kullu, Manali. So much to do. Let's quickly go through Kasauli, Rajgarh, and let's hit McLeodganj after that. Tell us the memorable things.
So Kasauli, there was Daily Needs, which is the place that provisions all the students and their parents, all the ones that are studying in in all the boarding schools up there. And he was famous because he made his own salami, his own ham. He had fresh juices. Then he would stock up all your standard chips and chocolate and all the things that young kids like. Yeah. And then we had a really nice sequence outside that. He had the bun samosas, and we did a really nice sequence. There were a whole bunch of kids, girls from some school there, and we did a sequence of them, and they kept trying to take our food.
Yeah, but was the Jwalaji temple here only, the natural gas flame? And we went to a zoo. Wasn't that around here? Am I confusing places?
That was Kufri. That was in Kufri. There's a little sort of zoo kind of thing there.
Yes,
but it's not very fancy. But while we are on the subject of Kasauli, it has the great the Lawrence School Sanaur, which is close by from Kasauli. So all the people who have studied in Sanaur over the years would all get time off and come down to Kasauli. And Kasauli is sort of the great hill station, which was a nice, vast, open cantonment area with thick forest and a beautiful place. And it was so beautiful, in fact, that everybody from Delhi and Chandigarh and all these areas decided to recreate a horrible city in there and bought up all the land and made big houses. So now it's like a little Delhi or a little Chandigarh in the middle of beautiful forests, which are all gone. And that little sort of market with 3 shops has turned into a big market with 20. And there are traffic jams from hell that happen over there. And, I have some friends who got a house there. And I stop there often when I go because I generally drive 10 hours after Kasauli. So I stop at Kasauli for the night, and it has turned into just another city here. So, that's what we humans do. We like something because of its quaintness and forest, and then we go there and we make our cities, and then we turn them into the very thing that we hate. But having said that, Kasauli is a nice place though.
But I went there about 2 or 3 years ago. The army, because the laws are such that in Kasauli, you don't own the house. You don't own the land. That land is all owned by the army, and you get to lease it or something of the sort. I mean, it's not a freehold plot. And the army had started reclaiming a lot of those houses. And I remember all these rich Sardars from Chandigarh were using their pull ki mera ghar na reclaim karna, mera ghar na reclaim karna. But they reclaimed and actually demolished a lot of the houses, because I know a few people whose houses were claimed and demolished.
Kasauli is a beautiful place, very accessible, and that's its curse, that it's only 1.5 hours away from Chandigarh.
Yeah.
So on the weekends is the worst time to go to Kasauli, because you will have like 10,000 people descend on that town, which can barely accommodate 1,500. And then it just becomes chaos.
Okay, boys, keep your McLeodganj stories ready. McLeodganj and Dharamsala and Kullu Manali. After that, we'll go. And all the places in between. I have a couple of emails I just like to read. This one is from Archana. Hi, first of all, I want to tell you guys that I love your show, Homp Original, and the new Corona Special Homp. Chalo, ye Corona Special ho gaya ji. Whenever we go to a new city, Amma makes it a point that we search for your episode online and get inputs on what to eat. For a long, long time, even now to a certain extent, I wanted to have your jobs and be you when I grew up. It is so amazing how you made eating very cool. And I agree wholeheartedly with what you said about anybody less than 90 kgs not being allowed to give an opinion on Punjabi food. Can you please do a show on Gujarat on your podcast series next? My husband and I are both graduates from IIM Ahmedabad. Arre wow, you are Jano. IIM Economics honors also failed. No. And during our course there, we fell in love over the food. All our dates used to be in Bhatiyar Gali over plates of bheja fry and multiple repeats of roti, anda gotala, manik chowk, and all the thalis and the mithai, and have more ice cream, and had a huge role to play in us falling in love and getting married. Thanks again for doing such an amazing show, Archana. Archana, because you have said, done, committed. Next episode, Gujarat, which has some of the most stunning photographs Prashant has taken of flamingos as far as the eye can see. We have shots at the Kutch, and we have Rocky and Mayur very subtly dressed doing the Garba. We went there for the Garba, and I tell you, when you see those photographs, you will just stand up and give us salami.
Totally. And I'm so happy to hear that there are people out there who still romance over food. So Archana, Amma knows best. So I'm completely in agreement with her. Always look up where we recommended before you go. And congrats to you and your husband for being the happy couple that got together over food. So I hope you keep enjoying food all your life long. And well, Gujarat it is next time in honor of you. That's a good one, Abhinandan. Well done.
Gujarat. And just one more email. We'll reach the last two at the end. This one is from Karthik from Bangalore. Niku, Prashant, Rocky, Mayur, really enjoying listening to your podcast. I go to sleep each night only after listening to them. Else, not getting proper sleep. No kidding. Loved the Uttar Pradesh episode. You guys must do one more from the state as it's so vast and I'm sure you have so much more to cover. Bro, Karthik, this is true about pretty much every state, yeah. Would love to hear a few other interesting and funny stories from there. By the way, when you guys ordered food, when you visited various places, did you order for 3-4 people or the entire crew? Did Rocky Mayur even share their food with the crew? Please do an episode on Delhi, Andhra, Telangana too. Can't wait to hear the stories from there. Get back, get hungry. Karthik, we will come to Andhra. In fact, one of the most beautiful sequences in the morning was at Kakinada when the boats had just come in after fishing. We saw fish and crabs that I hadn't seen before. But as far as sharing food is concerned, I kid you not, you may think it's a joke. Sometimes when these guys order, especially Rocky, and he's ordered something and someone didn't order it and they want to try it, and they try it, Rocky said, who took a bite from this? So, I'll say, I took a bite. If you wanted, shouldn't you have ordered? Did you order this? I said, no. Then why did you eat it? I was like, fuck, man. So that should tell you all you need to know.
But that didn't stop some of us. Fuck Rocky.
Yeah, but that's fine. I got my revenge by eating all their food back. But yeah, I mean, if you want food, order it. Yeah. Why do you want to eat other people's food, especially weak people like me who need food to keep us alive?
In fact, in at that Sharma Vaishno Dhaba in Janedghat, somewhere in the dialogue, one of us said, and people swear by this, people drive from here. In fact, our whole crew, they've just eaten and they loved it, and they know about it. And the other one, I don't remember who it was. The other one goes, as you can see, the point we're trying to make is that the crew eats before us. And
I remember while talking to that couple, Rocky borrowed a few rotis from them.
Yeah. But he also gave them back some of the ghee shakkar rotis. Okay, he gave them 2.
Okay.
So I'm like God in disguise. When you give me something, you will get it back tenfold. So all of you out there, if you ever see me, give me your money, your jewelry, your best wishes, because they'll come back to you tenfold. Seriously.
But we cannot say when. It is in the mail.
Yeah.
That sounds like some politicians of today.
No, they don't say it'll come back. They say it'll be put to good use.
So guys, McLeodganj and Dharamsala. I have to admit, when I had heard a lot about Dharamsala all my life. And the first time I went to Dharamsala was actually with this show. And I was quite disappointed because Dharamsala is a pretty dirty little town, man. And McLeodganj is nicer, further up. But Dharamsala has some wonderful places, man. That is there. But the visual impact of when you get there, of, the cow in that main where both these roads are meeting and there's tutty everywhere. And you're like, dude, where do I step without stepping into shit? At least like Mussoorie and Simla have these malls which are clean. So my first impression of Dharamsala wasn't good, but over the next 2 days, I loved it because some of the places we ate at, some of the people we met, fantastic.
Also, Dharamsala, I mean, the town is what it is, right? I mean, like you described it. But one really beautiful place to go to is the Norbulunka. So the Norbulunka is absolutely beautiful. It was designed, it's actually the summer palace. It's designed like the summer palace of the Dalai Lama in Lhasa. And it's a replica of that, but not to scale because, that is huge. This is not that huge. But it's been made beautifully and it has a lovely cafe within it. And this has been made by one very famous Japanese architect who's designed this place, Norbulunka. And the cafe serves really nice food and all. And if you like to see how tankas are made and, their traditional arts and all, they actually have a school there which trains people in tanka painting and so on. So you can actually go purchase or just view students sort of learning how to make tankas. And
I think it's the Dalai Lama's influence that there is a particular kind of sweetness and gentleness to everyone you meet there in the dhabas. Remember, where did we eat, Mayur, the first time we went there?
No, I don't remember shooting in Dharamshala at all. Not once.
No, I don't think so. We shot in Norbulunka.
We only shot in McLeodganj.
We've only shot in McLeodganj.
Yeah. All I remember of that drive up is both times that we went. The first time we'd gone there, we did the sequence where it was a beautiful, between Dharamsala and McLeodganj, there was a beautiful, not a cathedral, but a beautiful white church. And we stood there and I don't remember what jokes we made because we were very democratic. We made fun of every religion and everybody. And the second time when we went there, we did it in a bus shelter and it was pouring like rain, like can only happen in the mountains. Like you step out and you're wet, soaked. And we did this shot in the little bus stop. But of Dharamsala itself, I remember nada.
Rocks. There's First Cup Cafe, chocolate log, chocolate cake. Kya nahi khaya wahan?
Oh, that's all McLeodganj.
So when you get, Dharamshala for me has always been the stop before you get to McLeodganj, where you can stop and have a cup of tea. But is this the place where we found those Angora rabbits?
No, that's
Kullu. Between Kullu and Manali.
That was between Kullu and Manali. So Dharamshala, it has a big stadium, a cricket stadium there. And if you get away from the main road, there are some nice places and some nice people that you can meet in Dharamsala. But basically, it's on the way to McLeodganj, and McLeodganj is where the action is. So if you guys are done with Dharamsala, McLeodganj is also the first place. You know, when I had gone there first about 25 years ago, 20 years ago, well, yeah, about 25, 30 years ago, in fact, I had eaten at a place which had really nice basic Tibetan food, you know, thukpas and momos and just basic stuff. And when we went back this time and we ate there, the food was really good. So that, in fact, was the first place that took a life-size cutout of Mayur and me, put it outside their dhaba.
Norling.
It's called Norling
yes.
Cafe, right on the corner of two streets in McLeodganj. And they advertised that we had gone there to eat. And subsequently, about 2-3 years after putting up that big sign, their food turned really, really bad. And we got hundreds of emails from people saying, how could you recommend that place and put your photos outside it? The food has turned really bad. And we were like, dude, A, we didn't put our photos outside. We can't do anything. And B, we don't run the place. It is not ours. The guy didn't ask us. So please forgive us if the food is turned bad. It's not our fault.
When we ate there, I really liked the food there, man. I remember I stuffed myself that night. And I walked back because I was feeling so stuffed and there was a steep climb up and down. We walked somewhere. I had to walk to get something. But yeah, I remember walking after that meal.
McLeodganj, you had to walk many places because, I mean, beyond a certain level, the streets are so narrow.
And
So
it's a one-way.
places we were shooting at.
Town, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the places we were shooting at, and we shot at a lot of places there. I mean, once we get into this, we'll talk about that. So one was the visit to the Dalai Lama's, I don't know what you call it, the monastery or the palace. And the second thing was, I remember the first time we went there, they were having this whole free Tibet demonstration. There were like 300 people that walked, so they had blocked off a lot of streets. So it was even harder to get the cars to parking, so we walked a lot.
There's actually a lovely walk around that monastery. You know, it's along the periphery of the monastery. It's about a 3-4 kilometer walk around that hill, and it's a beautiful walk, and that's the walk to do. Like if you're in McLeodganj, that's a good morning walk to take.
Yeah, Ajay and I did that. The camera guy and I, we did that. That's when we found that cafe also, the First Cup Cafe that we went to for breakfast the next day. It had
which is just below the temple, right?
Correct.
Right.
On that one street, it had all that beautiful muesli and French toast and omelets and just your standard like where backpackers like to go kind of cafe.
Wasn't it on the Chocolate Log Road, the one behind where the Norling Cafe is, on the parallel road?
No, the Chocolate Log Cafe is the very steep road, which you sort of from the market, if you take a left and you go down.
Yeah.
With the temple on your right. You just go down that road. It's a very steep road. And
hang on, Rocky is right. The First Cup Cafe is down that road. You go past Norling, then you go further, Chocolate Log, then First Cup Cafe, then you go even lower and you get to that Tokkaibi, 7 Hills, the Korean place. And then past that, even a Japanese place. I don't remember.
Yes, exactly. There's a Japanese restaurant where we also want to go and eat.
Correct.
And in fact, I remember making that walk and this dog would not stop following us.
How dare you address me like that? I'm very upset with you. But for those of you who don't know, there is the Chocolate Log. And the one that you're talking about, I think, is the Moon Peak Cafe, where that's just below the Dalai Lama's palace.
Yeah, there's two of them, Moon Peak Thali and Moon Peak Cafe, side by side with the view of the mountains.
Yeah. At the Moon Peak Thali restaurant, they have some really interesting food. You know, like they have this apricot mutton, they have mango chicken, they'll have hibiscus iced tea, hot licorice tea. These are
watermelon
things
sabzi,
Yeah, watermelon sabzi. These are things that are available there, and the owner is a really sort of innovative young man who likes to try different things. But they do have a really nice cup of coffee, and they have a great location if you're coming out of the Dalai Lama's palace. So look for it on your, as you're going up to the palace, it's on your left, or as you're coming out, it's on your right. So look for it and drop in for a cup of coffee. It's a nice place to sit and watch the world go past.
What I remember about McLeodganj, which a lot of people that told me, was that there is this resort slightly higher than McLeodganj where children below 15 aren't allowed, and Pierce Brosnan goes there. It's one of his favorite places.
I think it's called Eagle's Peak or Eagle's Nest. It's an English couple that owns it, I think.
So I'll be going to some emails. I'm just giving you listeners that we will not be able to cover Kullu and Manali in this episode because there is so much we did over there that there's no way we could pack it up. So we'll have to come back again. So
but let me stop you. Let me stop you before you go and read out the emails. How can we leave McLeodganj without saying bye to the Chocolate Log, which is run by Alan, who's a retired Air Force officer, and his lovely wife Cheryl, who's just like the most fun person you'll ever meet. We had a fantastic time. She seemed to like both of us, even Mayur, which is very rare. But it was so much fun hanging out with her. She's just lively and she cooks and she's full of life, and she's just and they run a little place just behind the Chocolate Log in a beautiful wooded little area where you can stay. So keep an eye out for them, guys. And Chocolate Log has some really nice food. So I just want to give a shout out to them. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Alan. In case you're listening, this is for you.
Hello from all of us.
She wrote a book also. I remember later she got in touch. Niku and Prashant, I don't know if you know this, but she got in touch with me and Rocky and said she was writing a book and stuff, and she asked for a blurb for us to like write a little recommendation and stuff.
So what did you write? That when we learn to read, we promise to read your book.
Yeah, something like that. We put a thumb
Until then,
impression.
we shall eat chanas in it.
We put a thumb impression on the first page, and we ate our dinner over it, so the food marks were left there, which showed that it was genuinely signed by us.
Correct.
But one more thing. Actually, McLeodganj gets a lot of these Hollywood actors, you know, and thanks to the Dalai Lama, and most of them stay at the Chonar House. So if you want to see Richard Gere or one of these people in McLeodganj, Chonar House is the place to stay, and it's also very close to the Dalai Lama's temple, so it's literally like a stone's throw away. And the other thing is that if you want to do Vipassana,
throwing stones at the Dalai Lama,
then you can go just 2 kilometers above McLeodganj to a place called Dharamkot. And there are a couple of these beautiful monasteries there where you can actually stay there for a few days and learn meditation and all of that. So,
by the way, Prashant went for a 14-day Vipassana course, Vipassana, whatever you call it, to this place. And when he came back, I said, "Pata nahi kyun ja raha hai, kya hoga?" He came back to office. I said, "What happened?" He says, "Nothing. You're not allowed to talk to anyone in 14 days, and you eat murmuras and chai." I was like,
for 10 days, yeah.
I'll probably die in the second day. Not that I'm a foodie,
Absolutely. And talking about Vipassana, it's time for another Bengali joke. I had a friend who was from Bengal who used to go there very often. We used to call him Vipassana Basu.
Okay. So guys, I'm going to go to the mail. So leave Kullu, Manali, and Vashisht and Pragpur out, and keep your Paonta Sahib, Delhi, Kangra stories ready. So this email is from Arshad Khan. Arshad says, "Aadab arz hai." Aadab arz hai, Arshad Miyan. मियाँ आपने क्योंकि हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश के काफी मजे लिए, जो कि वाजिब भी है, फिर भी हम आपकी इस गुस्ताखी को माफ करते हैं क्योंकि आपसे मोहब्बत का रिश्ता है.
वाह वाह वाह.
We can forgive all your errors, but we cannot forgive not including the best Sikh kebab ever to be made by mankind, the Kakori kebab and Lucknowi biryani. We didn't talk about the Kakori kebab.
We didn't speak about the Kakori kebab.
We missed it out. How strange.
Like Kakori to
हमारी दिल्ली में ज्यादा अच्छा मिलता है यहाँ.
That's also true. We had better Kakori.
And actually, जो Kakori actual town है, वहाँ तो हम कभी गए नहीं shooting के लिए.
नहीं, हम रामपुर से गुजरे तो थे. रामपुर के कुक्स थे ना.
काकोरी नहीं गए, मतलब
काकोरी अलग जगह है भैया. रामपुर के कबाब, रामपुरी कबाब एक अलग होते हैं, काकोरी कबाब अलग होते हैं. ये सब अलग अलग चीजें हैं. आप तो रहने दो, आप अपना ब्रिटानिया केक खाओ और के गुण गाओ
और इंसुलिन लो.
ये कबाब वबाब आप खान साहब और हमारे लिए छोड़ दो, हम आपको बताते रहेंगे. जैसे
लेकिन ये जनाब अगर दिल्ली आए तो इनको अच्छे काकोरी कबाब खिला सकते हैं हम भाई.
अल कौसर में जाइए. अल कौसर में दुनिया के सबसे अच्छे काकोरी कबाब बनाए जाते हैं और आज तक बनाए जाते हैं और कई सालों से बनाए जाते हैं. वैसे काकोरी में भी बहुत जबरदस्त कबाब है, पर ये एक इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्वर्सेशन है which can carry on once you tried the Al Kausar kebab. Sorry Niku, read his email यार, क्या कर रहा है यार तू?
Also, as an Awadhi, I can tell you how UP as a whole has taught India how to eat and what to eat.
That is also true.
Sarkar, we have also taught us how to pick Yogi Adityanath to rule. But anyway,
हमने अपने माँ बाप से
मम्मी डैडी ने सिखाया था खाना कैसे खाते. बोले अब ऐसे जाता चम्मच अंदर.
For example, Nihari would.
मैं यही बोलने वाला था कि आज तक हमने अपने माँ बाप से कुछ नहीं सीखा, अब किसी और से क्या सीखे.
For example, Nihari would be eaten with a kulcha. Kebab will be eaten with parathe or shirmal. Aloo ki sabzi will be eaten with bedmi and so on. As you have not included any shairi in the Uttar Pradesh episode, here is one of Rahim ki Nihari from Lucknow. हजार नियामतें परवरदिगार हैं पाए, पुरानी दिल्ली से चलकर हमारे घर आए.
वाह.
जनाब हजरत गालिब जो लखनऊ आए, पकड़ के बैठ गए वो रहीम के पाए.
क्या बात है, क्या बात है. गालिब भी खुश और हम भी खुश. गालिब जनाब आए पैदल चल के, क्योंकि नहीं थी उस जमाने में उनके पास कार. एक बार उन्होंने खाई सलीम की निहारी, वहां बैठ के उन्होंने खूब मारे टिकार.
He has also recommended some Muradabadi dishes, biryani. So I think once we head out again, we shall take the advice of Arshad and try these places. Thanks, Arshad. for writing in. Thanks for these recommendations. We'll put these on our list of to-do items when we hit the road next. Hopefully that should be soon with the support of all of you who have built this phenomenal community that loves travel, chatter, friends, and food. And finally, Amitabh Trehan says, Dear Pram, Prashant, Rocky, Abhinan, Mayur, it's great that you started this podcast. We remember watching very fondly the original TV show. Like the show title, you indeed seem to be racing down the highway with your podcast. We still have to catch up. Maybe being Punjabi is one of our favorite episodes on TV was the one about Punjab. The same goes for the podcast. As it turns out, I'm from Pathankot and my wife, the real News Laundry subscriber, is from Moga. I was really thrilled that Palangtod of Banarsi Sweets in Pathankot got a mention on the podcast. We've grown up on it and have loved it. Sadly, the original shop closed down, but I've heard a new avatar, not surprisingly called New Banarsi Sweets, has opened. My wife was even more thrilled because you declared Dodda from Kot Kapura next to Moga as the outright winner over Palangtod. I often end up losing these wars, but I don't mind as long as the food is good. We are indeed foodies and have lots of international experience eating food and some of making it too. There's a certain thrill of having an often awesome falafel sandwich or pita with hummus right in the Mediterranean, Israel for us. My wife has become a very good baker in the process and I can make good French fries and even pakoras. During this unfortunate lockdown, we discovered the hilarious cooking of Diljit Dosanjh. At the moment of madness, set up our own YouTube channel called Her Majesty's Dhaba, where we've so far made English tea, Chinese tea, celebrity eggs, Indo-Chinese fried rice. And Amitabh has put the link to his YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Amitabh. Loving it, man. Thank you. You are truly a homper with the passion for food and travel, and great to have you on board. Thanks for writing.
Listen, thanks, guys. Arshad, Amitabh, thank you, both of you, for sending in your mails, man. We love it when you guys do this. So big hugs to both of you. Lots of love to your families. Keep eating well and keep writing in your mails. Yeah. It really encourages us to do more when you guys send in your mails. So इनको please भेजते रहना. Because मैं तो फिर भी good looks पे मेरा गुजारा हो जाता है, लेकिन मयूर, प्रशांत और निक्कू को तुम्हारी हौसले की बड़ी जरूरत होती है.
बहुत जरूरत होती है. And by the way, thanks a lot for these new places that people are mentioning in their emails and their letters, because this is what it's all about, right? I mean, learning. There's so much for us to also learn and understand.
And we'll discover these, man. Yeah, we'll check these out. So, boys, who wants to start? Prashant, you want to start? Other than Kullu, Manali, and the rest, which we'll leave for another episode. Kangra, Paonta Sahib, Delhi, and that pottery village. You took us there, didn't you?
No, I wasn't there on that Andretta trip, unfortunately. But I've heard
Prashant type की जगह थी. For those of you who don't know, Prashant is the artistic, sort of evolved kind of group person in our group, who's been for Vipassana Basu and many other things like that. And he tells us about
places. He's eaten murmuras with Bipasha Basu.
And he tells us about places like Andretta, where you can go and touch the earth and become one with the dust and soil from the ages by molding pottery to your will and putting a little bit of your life essence into things that are made of clay. Basically,
that sounds suspiciously close to stuff that you shouldn't be able to say on a family chat. Your life essence into the earth, I don't know.
Basically, you have a chance, and without magic, you can go there and become Harry Potter. So वहाँ जाके pottery कर सकते हैं. हमने भी करी थी pottery. The only embarrassing thing was that I was too large to fit behind the wheel. So,
yeah, I remember that.
You know, with one leg on either side, it was precariously close, that spinning wheel, to areas that I don't want to mention.
as if we go,
जान के खतरे में पॉटरी करी है मैंने, जान के खतरे में. तुम लोग क्या जानो कितनी टेंशन थी उस शॉट में.
बोतल घिस के कप की सॉसर बन जाती.
But guys, it's a beautiful place. I think it's like an artist residency kind of thing. It has beautiful little cottages and they have these pottery classes going. Really great vibe this place has. It's beautiful. It's away from the madness of the main towns of the hills. And I really liked it. I mean, I don't think I'd survive there a day or two, but it was nice to go visit a few hours and come
Did
back.
you go to Beer also from there?
Yeah, we went. So we went all the way up to Beer Billing, but before that we took a right turn and we went up to, it was in Kangra. I don't remember the name of the place, but we went, remember that guy, Frank Schlickman? He had that restaurant called the Four Tables.
Yeah.
And they were having he was trying to encourage tourism in that area and he wanted to do art. So he had this art festival called Shop for Art, Art for Shop.
Yes.
Art shop.
This is Kangra. This is Kangra area, right?
Correct. Yes. Just short of Beer Billing. And then he had this exhibition, and Indian and foreign artists had come and they'd done all their installation. Each one of them was given a shop and they'd done all their installations. There was a guy doing graffiti. There was a lady that had taken the traditional Himalayan cane baskets that they were, put them up all in different colors. And in the evening, he hosted a party. I think it was like
Yes.
300 rupees for a buffet, and we ate all this really delicious food. There were like candlelight. It was a
wonderful evening. In fact, I remember I met this guy was there, Nalin Kohli, who's now BJP spokesperson. He was also there, I remember.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That
what is
village,
really
by the way,
striking
is
about
called, that village is called Guner.
Guner,
And
thank you.
Guner is like one of those end of the road kind of places where there is absolutely no commerce anymore. So a lot of those farmers are struggling, which is why Frank is trying to do this shop art. And I hope it's continuing here.
But it was fascinating. I mean, I think it's a very ballsy thing to do. Like, I was amazed in the middle of nowhere in this village in the hills. He's like putting up this art exhibition. Pretty cool.
I actually met him. I met him 3 years back, I think, in the OCI office of all places in RK Puram in Delhi. And both of us were abusing the OCI officer because he was like just being an ass, as government officials sometimes tend to be.
Don't talk like this. You know what happened to Atish Tasir, right?
I don't even know who Atish Tasir is.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. But I met Frank in...
That's why you're talking like this. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been.
I actually forgot to ask him if he was still doing that thing. My horrifying memory of that place is that at one stage in the evening, I was feeling the pressure of all the water and juice I'd drunk. So I wandered out and to use the facilities, which in a big place. And I wandered out and there was a little gadda there and I fell in there and there was bichu booty. So I remember I came back with a completely scraped shin and I got stung by stinging nettles.
But हल्के होके आए कि नहीं?
हाँ.
वो तो तर क्या problem है यार? तो उसने में क्या फिर?
But aren't the mountains beautiful in that area? Yeah? I mean,
They really are, man.
Are like huge, and they're like this tower over you.
In fact, this place we stayed at, this Norwood Green, I think, right? Where we did the Kangra tea where we tried. That guy.
Yes.
I mean, that's a lovely place if you want to go away. So, Rocky, tell me what you remember of this trip, this side when we drove.
Well, it was, Kangra is a wonderful area, and the British at one time thought it was ideal for growing tea. So about 100 plus years ago, they started growing tea over there, and it did quite well. Most of it now apparently is exported. And we had a really excitable young man who used to run Norwood Greens. I've forgotten his name. I think it was Karan. What was it? Mayu, do you remember his name? Does anybody remember his name?
No, but he was like very gung-ho about Kangra tea and its medicinal properties. And
yeah, he was just so sort of enthusiastic about everything, especially the tea. And we were busy trying to get him married because he was single then. Obviously he's probably not single now. But Kangra is a wonderful, wonderful area. It's still not madly populated like most of Himachal has become. There are still quiet places, beautiful places, and the tea gardens have some kind of magic here. They're just ageless and timeless. So wonderful to go there. And the food has a lot of Punjabi influence. I mean, I was eating this sweet rice, and I was like, "What an exotic dish! What is it called?" And the guy said, "Mithe chawal," which basically means meethe chawal. And I was like, "That is really disappointing."
And then you had in fact, I was watching this episode just 3-4 days ago, the Lingdi sabzi, and Mayur, you had
correct
a lot of the spicy stuff there, right?
He had a sabzi with petha, the white ash gourd. They had petha sabzi, they had Lingdi sabzi. Rocky had that Pahadi mutton with the amchur and mint leaves. And the boy's name was Karan Singh Grewal.
Karan. It was Karan, I remember.
Correct.
So Kangra is not, and we shot a shot on the highway with the Kangra fort in the background. I remember. Do you remember that we stopped at this very narrow patch?
That is a fantastic visual. Yeah, that fort has got to be one of the most remarkable looking forts in all of India. That cliff face is huge, straight down 1 kilometer, absolutely sheer cliff. Who could attack that fort? Nobody could attack it.
Yeah, and we took a photograph. I mean, we took a shot of you guys holding some prasad from some mandir we had come to with that at the back. And I remember I was wearing a banyan because it was very hot at that time.
It was the Jwalaji shrine. It was like, it's one of the 51 Shakti Peeths. It's where Sati's tongue fell. You know, the whole story about how when she died and
each body part.
Bholenath was carrying her, and then finally Vishnu sent his Sudarshan. That was where the tongue fell. And that place also, we learned there that there is a temple, its sister temple in Baku, Azerbaijan. And that's also called the Baku Jwalaji temple there.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, this was like it's really ancient temple there.
Yeah, but this is Jwalaji is very famous, and you guys can go there because this is one of those areas where natural gas escapes from a small hole in the ground. and forms a perennial flame that has been burning for hundreds of years.
Correct.
So obviously that must have appeared like magic to a lot of people in the olden days. But it's a lovely place. Most of these religious places in the mountains and hills, they have a beautiful, peaceful vibe because people come there to actually pray. They don't come there to be seen or show off or anything of that sort. They just come there to, with the best intentions at heart. They come there to serve their fellow man. They come in, they donate money, they do all the good things. So these places, I think, really help. And that's the amazing thing about Himachal. I mean, it's like divine, there are so many temples there that the coconut surprisingly finds a very strong place in a lot of Himachali cuisine. And we were all wondering where coconut comes from. And that's when we realized that because of these thousands of temples, people from the plains come up to worship and they all carry coconuts as offerings. So the coconut has always been brought to Himachal for thousands of years, literally. So it is a staple in Himachali cooking. And, that's the beautiful stories of India. Just an ingredient like a coconut, which doesn't grow anywhere in the mountains, finding a place in a cuisine which is so old. So, all of that sort of Jwalaji brings back all those memories for me.
Yeah, we actually, in Himachal, we went to two Jwalaji temples. One was here, and I don't think we shot here. And then there was another one where we shot, where we sat down, we had the equivalent of a langar. That was near Pragpur. We went there, where there were lots of that specific place. In fact, when we talk about it, we'll also talk about the story of why the coconut was offered. There's a whole legend which the wife of the lady there told us about. But in Kangra, I mean, we tried the tea. We went to Novod Green, we went to Andretta. We could not do the paragliding at Bir Billing. Was there anything else?
No, not that we couldn't do it. We didn't want to do any paragliding. I did not want any 100-kilo human splattered at the base of the cliff to have take home with me. So we said we will avoid any adventure spots. Let's just keep eating for now. And what I really liked was in this entire Kangra, I remember there was this one zoo. I'm just being confusing, but from the highway we saw one zoo. We didn't go there, but we saw it, right? There was a bear roaming around, and there's a zoo somewhere there. I'm quite sure.
That was Rocky. He's been known to roam around bear many times.
Yeah, in fact, there's a nursery rhyme they have about me. Mary had a little lamb. She also had a bear. I've often seen Mary's lamb, but I've never seen her bear. It's about me. It's a lovely little poem. Quite naughty if you want it to be.
I will say Paonta Sahib is a place that when I was growing up in Dehradun, we used to go often.
Oh, sorry. Let me answer your question. The Palampur Zoo is quite a nice zoo.
So that was near this Norwegian boat, It was near this Norwegian boat.
Well, it wasn't near, but yeah, it's near the town of Palampur. Just at the beginning of the Palampur town is a nice zoo. So you can go there and see nice animals and birds from that region. It's quite a sweet place to spend a couple of hours in.
So yeah, I remember seeing it from the highway, although we didn't really go to the zoo, but yeah, we stopped and took a few shots.
Niku, you've been hanging around with us for so long, you're always spotting the animals everywhere. At the zoo and all, you're really into it, man.
Completely, man. But the Gurdwara at Paonta Sahib is something that I associate when I was a child growing up in Dehradun. We often used to go for picnics to Paonta Sahib. It was a fantastic picnic spot. There was a river there and we used to go wade in the river. And
it's called the Yamuna, Niku.
It's called the Yamuna, right? Okay. But the time we went together, all of us, that wasn't the Paonta Sahib I remember, man. I was very disappointed.
Really? The Kada Prasad was still delicious, man.
Yeah, but just the visual of it wasn't the Paonta Sahib I remember as a child. Just the river, where the river was, it seems to have moved somewhere.
Correct.
But let me put it in perspective for you, Niku. In 1947, there were 40 crore Indians at independence. Today, we have increased our population by almost 100 crores. We are almost 140 crore now. So that should give you an idea, because the Paonta Sahib that I remember going to, my father's from Dehradun, he used to have a piece of land there. So we used to go to Paonta Sahib very early in the 70s. There was absolutely nothing at Paonta Sahib except this beautiful Gurdwara and just a little quadrangle outside with 5 or 10 houses and shops. And that was it. And Paonta Sahib used to be in the middle of the forest. A beautiful little place.
Exactly.
Now when you drive there, there's a huge dam and this waterworks and hundreds of homes in a village, and it's really changed in the last 30, 40 years. And, that's the reality of India. I mean, 40 crore people, we were a quaint little country. 140 crore people, we are neither quaint nor little. So,
we are a superpower.
But also the scale changes, as you grow older, everything sort of, your perspective, your scale, as a child, when you go to a place, it has a different sort of a vibe. It has a different leaves a different impression on you. But when you grow up, 20 years later you go to the same place, it just seems, अरे ये क्या है? ये तो बहुत छोटी सी जगह है. Now when you're a child, it's like
no, and this is the other way around. In fact, when I used to go there as a child, I used to feel the बहुत छोटी सी जगह है. Now when I went back, I was like, my God, Nagpur is like a town.
Yeah.
Here. It's like a big
And
place.
also happen, especially in the hills, it's always the other way around. ये छोटी सी जगह होती थी, and now it's like.
But like the Gurdwara may have seemed like a large place at that time, but now it looks like a very small
Yeah,
place.
exactly. The buildings themselves.
The town has,
Yeah, but Milord, is आखिरी point पे गौर किया जाए, I haven't grown up here. I never intend to. So you
Yes.
can't include that for me.
evidently, you're right. I've been saying that all along, and then you fight with me.
Yeah.
So, guys, we'll have to come back for the rest of Himachal because there's just so much and we spent so much time. I'm heartbroken that we couldn't cover my good friend Munir Suri's Nirala here. It's a lovely place. If you ever...
Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Next time.
Incredible location, yeah.
So we'll have to come back to Himachal, like we'll have to come back to a lot of places like UP and Tamil Nadu and so many places which we haven't done justice to. But for now, we have to leave you. Do give us a high rating on whatever podcast platform you listen to us on. And if it doesn't have a rating system, you can write a favorable review. It makes it easier for others to find and discover us, because we would like to build a community that is as large as possible, who can contribute with ideas, thoughts, and put Rocky and Mayur back on the highway once this COVID mess is behind us. And you can write into us at homp2020@gmail.com with your food stories. But we will not leave you before we give you our dependable food quote, because, you know, this, who says we don't have poetry here? Of course we do. Show him, boys.
Show him. Himachal is a beautiful place where there is trust and love and peace, and nobody ever their door locks. We had a remarkable journey with Happy Abhinandan, Gluttony Mayur, Incredible Rocky, and Prashant, who was staring at letterbox.
Mayuri.
Himachal has meat pickles, toy trains, and sometimes very narrow tracks. But don't worry about the driving, because you'll always be protected by Mr. Bawa and his kickbacks.
He rhymed. Prashant, you were threatening that you're going to do this time. Come on, tell us.
He's back in the game.
Okay.
My food court requires a trigger from one of you. You have to ask कि बस हिमाचल खत्म हो गया?
हमने करण सिंह ग्रेवाल की शादी कराने की कोशिश करी, दिलवाला दुल्हनिया ले गया, हम कहानियां सुनाते रहे, और देखो क्या हिमाचल खत्म हो गया?
I'll keep this short and predictable, you Ullu. We will be back to take them to Manali and Kullu.
Lovely.
So on that note,
everybody's poetic license now stand revoked and returned during the lockdown. None of you will be allowed to do poetry anymore, including me.
So guys, do join us. We will take you to Gujarat next episode. Thank you for writing in. Thank you for the love. And can I just remind everybody that we will get the highway to you as long as we can't get to the highway and you can't get to the highway. That's the aim of this. And wherever you are, whatever town, city you're in, just make sure no one starves to death in your town or city. We are going through a crisis that we hopefully will never see in this lifetime and have never seen before. News Laundry has done a report on all the NGOs and organizations that are working to feed people who are stranded. If you have any organizations, neighborhoods, or even groups that you know of who are working in this direction, write into us at homp2020@gmail.com. We will add those organizations to that list. So whichever city you're in and you want to contribute to make sure that you feed the people who are starving, the migrant labor who's stuck, just check out that report. The link of that report will be on every newsletter from now on. And if you can contact the organization in your city, help feed those. If you are fortunate enough to have more than you need, do share.
Yeah. And guys, remember, just, have some fun in life. This lockdown taught us one thing, that life isn't forever. And whatever your priorities were about making money and working hard, that doesn't necessarily have to be the sum total of life. So enjoy yourself, laugh a little, be a little nicer to people, react nicely to them on Instagram and online, and hopefully even on Twitter, though that is too much to ask for, I realize. But,
keep it reasonable.
Be reasonable, okay. But drop the bitterness a little, laugh a little more, smile a little more. The world's not so bad. And hopefully the lockdown will be over soon and we'll all be able to get out again. And until then, listen to our stories and write it.
And no one's indispensable.
No one's indispensable, right. Okay, boys. Good night. Sleep well.
Good night.
Good
See
night.
you guys. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
All the News Laundry podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and any other podcast platform.
Please subscribe to News Laundry. Help us keep news independent. To catch all our podcasts on news, pop culture, current affairs, and sport, visit newslaundry.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.